Myoho Rengue Kyo represents the identity of what some scientists are now referring to as the unified field of consciousnesses. In other words, it's the essence of all existence and non-existence, the ultimate creative force behind planets, stars, nebulae, people, animals, trees, fish, birds, and all phenomena, manifest or latent. All matter and intelligence are simply waves or ripples manifesting to and from this core source. Consciousness, enlightenment, is itself the actual creator of everything that exists now, ever existed in the past, or will exist in the future, right down to the minutest particles of dust, each being an individual ripple or wave. The big difference between chanting Myoho Rengue Kyo and most other conventional prayers is that instead of depending on a middleman to connect us to our state of inner enlightenment, we are able to do it ourselves. That's because chanting Myoho Rengue Kyo allows us to tap directly into our enlightened state by way of this self-produced sound vibration. Who or what is God? If we compare the concept of God being a separate entity that is forever watching down on us, to the teachings of Nichiren, it makes more sense to me that the true omnipotence, omniscience and omnipresence of what most people perceive to be God, is the fantastic state of enlightenment that exists within each of us. Some say that God is an entity that's beyond physical matter. I think that the vast amount of information continuously being conveyed via electromagnetic waves in today's world gives us proof of how an invisible state of God could indeed exist. For example, it's now widely known that specific data relayed by way of electromagnetic waves has the potential to help bring about extraordinary and powerful effects, including an instant global awareness of something or a mass emotional reaction. It's also common knowledge that these invisible waves can easily be used to detonate a bomb or to enable NASA to control the movements of a robot as far away as the Moon or Mars, none of which is possible without a receiver to decode the information that's being transmitted. Without the receiver, the data would remain impotent. In a very similar way, we need to have our own receiver switched on so that we can activate a clear and precise understanding of our own life, all other life and what everything else in existence is. Chanting Myoho Rengue Kyo each day helps us to achieve this because it allows us to reach the core of our enlightenment and keep it switched on. That's because Myoho Rengue Kyo represents the identity of what scientists now refer to as the unified field of consciousnesses. To break it down, Myo represents the law of manifestation and latency, nature, and consists of two alternating states. For example, the state of Myo is where everything in life that's not obvious to us exists, including our stored memories when we're not thinking about them, our hidden potential and inner emotions whenever they're dormant, our desires, our fears, our wisdom, happiness, karma, and more importantly, our enlightenment. The other state, Ho, is where everything in life exists whenever it becomes evident to us, such as when a thought pops up from within our memory, whenever we experience or express our emotions, or whenever a good or bad cause manifests as an effect from our karma. When anything becomes apparent, it merely means that it's come out of the state of Myo, dormancy/latency, and into a state of Ho, manifestation. It's the difference between consciousness and unconsciousness, being awake or asleep, or knowing and not knowing. The second law, Rengue, Rain meaning cause and Ge meaning effect, governs and controls the functions of Myo. These two laws of Myo and Rengue not only function together simultaneously but also underlies all spiritual and physical existence. The final and third part of the tri-combination, Kyo, is the law that allows Myo to integrate with Rengue, or vice versa. It's the great, invisible thread of energy that fuses and connects all life and matter, as well as the past, present and future. It's also sometimes termed the universal law of communication. Perhaps it could even be compared with the string theory that many scientists now suspect exists. Just as the cells in our body, our thoughts, feelings and everything else is continually fluctuating within us, all that exists in the world around us and beyond is also in a constant state of flux, constantly controlled by these three fundamental laws. In fact, more things are going back and forth between the two states of Myo and Ho in a single moment than it would ever be possible to calculate or describe. And it doesn't matter how big or small, famous or trivial anything or anyone may appear to be, everything that's ever existed in the past, exists now or will exist in the future, exists only because of the workings of the laws Myoho Rengue Kyo - the basis of the four fundamental forces, and if they didn't function, neither we nor anything else could go on existing. That's because all forms of existence, including the seasons, days, night, birth, death and so on, are moving forward in an ongoing flow of continuation, rhythmically reverting back and forth between the two fundamental states of Myo and Ho in absolute accordance with Renge, and by way of Kyo. Even stars are dying and being reborn under the workings of what the combination Myoho Rengue Kyo represents. Nam, or Namu, which mean the same thing, are vibrational passwords or keys that allow us to reach deep into our life and fuse with or become one with Myoho Rengue Kyo. On a more personal level, nothing ever happens by chance or coincidence. It's the causes that we've made in our past, or are presently making, that determine how these laws function uniquely in each of our lives, as well as the environment from moment to moment. By facing east, in harmony with the direction that the earth is spinning, and chanting Nam Myoho Rengue Kyo for a minimum of, let's say, 10 minutes daily to start with, any of us can experience actual proof of its positive effects in our lives. Even if it only makes us feel good on the inside, there will be a definite positive effect. That's because we're able to pierce through the thickest layers of our karma and activate our inherent Buddha nature, our enlightened state. By so doing, we are then able to bring forth the wisdom and good fortune that we need to challenge, overcome and change our adverse circumstances, turn them into positive ones, or manifest and gain even greater fulfillment in our daily lives from our accumulated good karma. This also allows us to bring forth the wisdom that can free us from the ignorance and stupidity that's preventing us from accepting and being proud of the person that we indeed are, regardless of our race, color, gender or sexuality. We're also able to see and understand our circumstances and the environment far more clearly, as well as attract and connect with any needed external beneficial forces and situations. As I've already mentioned, everything is subject to the law of cause and effect. The actual proof strength resulting from chanting Nam Myoho Rengue Kyo always depends on our determination, sincerity and dedication. For example, the levels of difference could be compared to making a sound on a piano, creating a melody, producing a great song, and so on. Something else that's very important to always respect and acknowledge is that the law, or if you prefer God, is in everyone and everything.